Hey, I'm Tuomo. I'm the founder of SPX Graphics, and I'm here to give you a little introduction to SPX Graphics overall. So this is the SPX user interface, and here we are in the projects view of the application. We have a main menu, we have breadcrumbs up here. This is a list of projects, and well, basically projects are a way to organize content in SPX. So each project is going to contain two things. It's going to have a list of or a set of graphics and rundowns for that project. So if we now create a new demo project, and here we have two options actually. We have the OGraph option and SPX template. So let's call this just a demo. Here we go. And now we are in an empty project settings. So you can see projects demo settings. And since we don't have any project, any graphics assigned to this project yet, we will need to start with that. So if we go into this view, I'm going to make this window slightly bigger so you can see it more. So here we are navigating our folder structure, and if we go into some of the folders, this is our default templates that ships with the application. So if we choose all of them and select, and now all of those items were brought into our project settings for this project just once. Each of these, you can see these names, a color accent, and a bunch of numbers. Each of these items can be extended out like this. So this is an info left, name left, and here we have some settings. We don't need to go into details right now, but let's just change this color to red and save it. So now we can see that this one is flagged with a red color. Some people like to use these colors to categorize items like full screens, lower thirds, or for different outputs. But let's start with this one. So now we have our setup done, so we have some graphics to play around with. So if we now go into our demo project, we can see that we are in a rundown view and there's nothing in it. So we will need to create a new rundown, rehearsal. So that's now our rehearsal rundown for this project. And we are now in a main SPX user interface. And what you can see from here is that here is a list of items. There's nothing on it. It reads empty rundown. Here we can see a preview window, and here are some buttons that we will cover later. Let's start by adding some graphics onto our list. And we can choose to add all the graphics from our collection to our rundown. And here we can see a list of items on our rundown. We can drag these around. We can take the red one. Remember, the one was flagged with red color, so now that's at the top of the list. And we can scroll this and, you know, do these kind of things. If I select one of these items, is play it. So if I play it, we can see that we got this item into our renderer, and also we got this indicator showing that this item is now currently running. If I play another item, now we have two graphics on screen and two indicators. 3, and let's take this one also. So now we have 3 items, and you saw that this info right actually went out by itself. So if we play that again, you will see that this indicator looks slightly different. It has this vertical line indicating that it's going to go out automatically. Let's bring one more thing in here so we can see that now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 items. 1, 2, 3, 4 items on screen. Alright, let's move these up here. And the reason why this one went out, let's play it one more time. So it's going to go out automatically, and that's the reason that this item has been flagged as auto out, meaning that it has a duration. When I double click on an item, it opens up for editing. Let's stop everything here. Now everything animates out from screen. And if I double click on an item, I can choose to enter something else in here. Let's fix the typo, and we can, let's say, remove this one, and let's call this a job title. Alright. This graphics package comes with theme selector. So all these items, they have different themes. This one is using now the default theme. But if we choose a different theme from a drop down, so let's say news. So now we have news selected in here, and if we stop it and play it, that's gonna look quite different. We can try something else, so let's choose the holiday one, and now it looks like that. Same applies to all of these graphics. So if we now go into a bunch of them, so if we choose a new style to this one and to this one also, and remember this is just one of the ways how this can be controlled, but let's try this. So here we go. Now we have few items which are flagged with the new style. So that's what it will look like. The automatic duration is part of this setup. So here we can see that it reads 3000 milliseconds. So if we play this one more time, using the new style obviously, so it's gonna stay there 2, 3, and it goes out. If we choose a different duration called manual, then it means item out mode changed to manual. So now when we play it, it's gonna stay there forever. We can stop these items individually just by clicking on it and clicking the stop button, like so, or we can click the stop all plugin, which will animate all the layers out gracefully from screen using the out animations of each of the layers. Or if we have a bunch of stuff on screen and we want to get rid of it fast, we can click panic and it will clear all the outputs at once. Alright, so that's the basic operation of SPX Graphics rundown. There are obviously a ton of other things that you can do with it. So if we take a look at this view here, we can see that we have this number 5 here, we have an ID here, we have a trash can, duplicate item, export item. These are things that you will learn just by hovering your mouse over it and see the text down here in the footer. So what all of these buttons, what they do. Each of these items are basically in this project, since we chose the SPX graphics format for this project, these are all HTML files on the hard drive, and we can modify those files as needed. Each one of them are gonna render in SPX on their different layers. So if we take a look at the project settings one more time, we can see that we have this playout layer number here. We have 20 layers for graphics, so you can have 20 layers on screen at once. Alright, so if we go use this shortcut here, we can go back to our rundown. We can stop all for now. If I click on this duplicate item, we get a duplicate down here. Same applies if I do just Ctrl D on a keyboard. You can move up and down the list using up and down buttons on the keyboard. When you hit space, it's going to play the item, and if we are currently playing, then we can hit space another time, so it will animate out. We also have obviously a way to have graphics which have more than one stop point. This one is an example of it. So now when we play this item, we can see this continue button lit up, and if we click on it, the animation goes to its second step. And if we now continue one more time, it's going to animate out, and now we are in a stopped mode, so we can start playing it again. So each of the graphics, they can have more than one stop point. Preview and program. Obviously in broadcast workflows you will need to have a way to preview your graphics before you take it on air, and that's why underneath the renderer we have a couple of options. First of all, we can pop this renderer from here into a separate window, like so. So now it is detached from the main UI, so we can move it there, and we can have a preview viewer which looks quite identical. So if we put it in here, and let's scale it down, something like that, a little bit more, here we go. So now when we hover or actually click on an item once on the rundown, that's gonna play in the preview. So if we want to go to, let's say, this name right, and if we can see a typo, we can fix the typo like so, and when we play it, it's gonna take it to program. SPX Graphics can be controlled with an automation. using APIs. So one example of that is using Stream Deck. So I can go into my rundown and I can, here we go. So I have buttons here for navigating the rundown, going up and down, playing items and such. So let's go down, 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 and hit play, and hit continue, and hit stop. So that means that there is some kind of a mechanism in SPX to be able to do this programmatically. So if we now take a look at it from the user interface, we can see that each of these items, they have an ID down here. So you can see when I hover my mouse over this button, it's going to give me this default ID, which is auto-generated, and we can override it. So let's call this the title. So now this item is called title on the rundown, and if we activate the caps lock key, we can actually see all these items in here. And if I go into this play button and I click it, it gives me this feedback. The API command was copied onto the clipboard. So if I pull up a new tab and I paste that in here, actually let's move this over so we can actually see it. So let's make some space in here. And at the same time, let's open up a bigger window so it's easier for us to see what's going on. So now we have a bigger render window, and this is the API call, so play title. So now we have it in here. We can change the play command to continue. And now it went to there, and we can also obviously stop it. So that means that these kind of commands can be put into action using some kind of external device, such as a Stream Deck panel or a software, like automation software. Where we have these API instructions or documentation for SPX is as part of the server. So if you go to the SPX logo and down to API documentation, it's going to open up a new tab, and this tab is going to contain 3 groups of API endpoints. So we have a very basic API commands in here. Controller API is always controlling the user interface of SPX. So here we have items such as loading a rundown, moving focus up and down the list. So if I click on this focused first, you can see this highlighted item is going to jump up. So now it's up here, and if I go focus next, it goes down, and if I keep on reloading, it goes down. So these are controlling this user interface, and here we have these IDs, so we can control currently selected item or an item by ID. So these are the core functions in the controller API, and the most advanced API endpoints are available in the server API collection. Things like a direct playout for channel branding or some other fully automated graphics playout processes. So like this endpoint supports loading up a template, then providing the content. Each of these fields have an identifier, F0, F1, F2 and so on. So we can populate those properties and then we can play it. And it can be played completely automated. For Newsroom we have an object DB playout, so once there is a more advanced setup using MOS protocol, then we can store graphic contents into a database, and we can pull those up from the database in a Newsroom system or NLE video editing suite. Another example of using API is plugins. So let's close this and take a look at these buttons that we have in here. So the first item here is in my installation. So these are all plugins. So let's start with this. So if I click on it, it opens up this new window. We call these extensions. So this extension comes with the application for developers, so they can take a look at the source code and understand how to control graphics using their own user interface. So this, like you can see here from the path, we are in plugins. It's an SPX extension development example index.html. So that's this page that we have in this window. And here we can issue a play command. So now that sent an API call to SPX server to load up a graphic. Let's open up a new window so we can see it a bit clearer, like so. And let's play play it again. So now it's loaded up into both of these windows, and this blue button here is going to send a function to this template, this graphic, to increment the number. So I can keep on clicking this however many times I want, and it's just gonna execute a function in this template for incrementing this number. So this opens a door for more advanced workflows that are not rundown based. So in basic live production, this is obviously the way to go, but in some instances like sports, there might be other reasons to develop custom user interfaces for custom workflows. A scoreboard is one of the examples that we have. So this graphic is or this extension is controlling a football scoreboard kind of a solution. So let's reset all these values first. So these are the scores, obviously, and let's stop the clock and set it to 0, update, and here we go. So now we're good to go. So now when I clicked on the play button, it's gonna bring in this graphic. We can toggle that between two states. So this is the normal state, and this is the kind of a minimized state, and we can run the clock. So now it's running the clock. We can obviously stop it, reset it, do these kind of things, and we can of course increment the score. So let's give score to the away team and to the home team and so on. Of course, these things sometimes they might need some custom functions or functionalities, so that's why in this example we have an advertising example, so we can pull up an ad and just play it there, and it's going to stay there for 5 seconds, and then it's going to go out. And all this is possible because of the API in SPX. One of the questions that we get asked a lot is graphics creation. SPX Graphics doesn't have a graphics creation tool, and there's a reason for it. So since SPX Graphics works with HTML based graphics, there are a lot of workflows and possibilities for creating graphics. So if we go into our project settings and we click on this plus button to add more graphics into our production or project, we can see that we have this site which is install templates using SPX or OGraph format, and then we have other options. One of them being Loopic and one of them being Ferryman. Loopic is a tool, a web app, a partner of ours, which is a tool for creating HTML based graphics in a browser. So here we have a graphic, and you can see that we have a timeline in here, and all these objects are editable exactly like you would have in After Effects or similar applications. And once you are done with your design, you can go into export functions down in the bottom right. You can choose SPX Graphics file format and export. It's going to ask for a folder where these assets will be stored in, and when you allow it and save it, you are going to have a new template saved directly into SPX for playout. Another workflow which is very useful is Ferryman. This is another web application which supports files exported out from After Effects. So After Effects has a plugin for exporting projects as Lottie files, Lottie here, and once you have that file you can drop it in here, and once you do, let's use one of these examples. So a lower third like this, you might have created this in After Effects, and you can see that there is a name and a job title, properties in here. We can extend these properties, and each of these items are from After Effects, and all the layers which starts with an underscore will become dynamic fields in Ferryman, like first name, last name, and so on. So now we can see that we have changed this item. Also, it supports expressions, and this left-right expression uses number 1 and 0 to flip the side of the graphic. And once you are once you have like previewed your graphic in here and make sure that it works, you can go into the export options, choose SPX. You remember the color highlights and these SPX specific fields, and when you download it, you're gonna get a new file downloaded into your download folder. You can put it into SPX and go into production with it. If we go back to SPX and we go to a rundown and we take one of these items and I click on this pen icon, we can see that all these files are HTML files, and we can take a look at it. So this is the body. We have a special object called SPX window and graphics, and here we can see that we are drilling into these items. They all have classes, meaning style definitions, and let's say that we have the default theme, and if I open up the default theme, so themes, default, we can see we have this accent color which is green. So if I change that to, let's say, red and save it, and I go back into my graphics and I play it, now our accent color is red. If I go back in here and I undo, so now it's back in green, and I save it and I stop and play, now the color is back to its original color. So you can see that the modifications to these HTML files are super easy, and having these themes makes it very useful to create sub-brands, for example. So that's a quick introduction to SPX Graphics overall. Hopefully that was useful. If you need more information, please get in touch with us, and we can share more information about integrations, our professional services, and other software that we have for graphics creation and playback. Thank you.